Inside the Triangle, the Decker Truckline Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inside the Triangle. I am your host, Darren Ladley, and today we have an outstanding young man by the name of Zac. Zac is our DM here in the Fort Dodge office. Zac mainly handles the guaranteed pay guys. So we're going to talk a little bit about Zac and where he grew up and what he did and what he does here. So, Zac, where'd you grow up at? It sure isn't in Fort Dodge.
No, I moved down to Texas when I was 8, lived in a smaller town by the name of Sweetwater, Texas, until I was 18, graduated high school down there, and then came up here to attend the University of Iowa State. Did that for a couple years, decided I didn't really like the whole school thing, wasn't really my cup of tea, and I had experience from my family in the trucking industry and was dating a gal that I'm currently married to now. That kind of brought me up here, and so that's kind of where I ended up.
So when you went to Iowa State, what'd you do? What was your major?
I went back and forth. So originally I was in for animal science, which is basically farm animals, domestic animals, stuff like that. With a kind of subsection for ecology, so your exotic animals, zoos, stuff like that, and then ended up towards the end of my process, switched over to criminal justice and really kind of fell in love with that, but trying to pay for school on your own and everything, especially at a university, it gets kind of expensive. So
Mom and Dad weren't paying for it?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
No, I got taught to fend for your own.
So what did your parents, so if you were into animals, were your parents ranchers or something down there in Texas, or?
No, I've grown up ever since I was little with a love for animals. I wanted to be a bull rider when I was younger. Have just had a really outstanding relationship with animals. Love dogs, horses, cows. I mean, I spent a lot of time outdoors, spend a lot of time out on ranches with family members and friends and stuff like that had animals like that. But no, we just had 2 dogs growing up.
So bull rider. So you and Michael must get along pretty good, huh?
Usually when I talk to him, it's to give him shit about the Cowboys, and he kind of goes the other direction. So.
Oh, you're not a Cowboys fan? You're a...
I don't really watch the NFL that much.
Okay.
I'll watch college football, cheer for TCU. But as far as watching the NFL, I don't do it a whole lot.
Well, he's very excited right now because I was in talking to him because, as you know, we pull the Iowa State football truck, and he's hoping they win the Big 12 championship. Because to go play in the Big 12 championship because it's played in the home of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep,
but there's also a major rodeo going on the same time.
The Fort Worth rodeo?
Yes.
Yep.
So he's very excited that Iowa State makes it to there.
Well, I think they got a good chance. I think it's going to be down to them and Kansas State. It's going to be the 2 teams that are kind of going for it. So, and Kansas State's kind of emerged as that dark horse this year, especially having a second-year head coach and all that. So it'll be interesting to see how they do.
Yeah, and I'm going down to the Oklahoma State game next weekend, so hopefully we can pull out a good one because they're
forgot about them.
Yeah, I think they're
still undefeated.
So we got a ways to go yet. So so you got done at Iowa State, and then you decided to go on into the trucking background. So when you say a trucking background,
so my 2 cousins that I got my start in basically own 2 smaller trucking companies. One of them runs about 3 trucks, and the other one runs about 2. And then one of them that owns one of the trucking companies also runs a brokerage. So I actually got my start in brokering. And kind of learned how to do things from there. He kind of taught me how to do everything that on the brokerage side and how to do it successfully and effectively. And then I worked for Hill Brothers in Omaha for a little bit after I kind of decided, hey, I appreciate the learning experience, but I want to kind of branch out a little bit more. And didn't really work out in Omaha. I was driving 70 miles one way, so about 160 miles a day by the time it was all said and done, and kind of decided, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. And like I said, I was dating my then girlfriend, now wife at the time, and she lived up in Manson and told me to apply up here to Decker, and I've been here ever since, and it's going on about 3 years.
And everybody, Zac just got married 2 weeks ago? Come on now.
3. Yeah,
3 weeks ago.
Been 3 weeks ago, September 19th, and then I had a birthday 2 weeks later.
So. Okay. So where'd you go for after the wedding and everything? Did you take a vacation and go anywhere?
We kind of did, yeah. We went down to Omaha for a couple of days. I had family, like my parents and sister, that live down in Texas still, that I don't get to see, but maybe once a year when I do take a vacation. So we went down to Omaha with them for a couple of days, and then to see my uncles and cousins that live down around that area. and then basically hung out with them, and then they left to go back home. We came home for probably about a day and a half, and then went down to Des Moines for a couple of days and spent a couple of days down in Des Moines. So,
So no big honeymoon cruise, or well, COVID's probably got that all messed up.
We were looking at one. We were going to go on a cruise to Cozumel and Belize.
I've been to both of them. They're awesome.
Yep, here they're really beautiful to go to, and had that all kind of planned out. And then when we, COVID hit and everything like that, we didn't even know if we were going to be able to have a wedding. They had actually just opened up our venue to full capacity like 3-4 weeks before our wedding went going on. And so we kind of backed off on that. But we do have plans, hopefully next October, that we're going to end up taking that cruise down to Cozumel and Belize. So we'll drive down to Texas.
Oh, you're going down to Galveston then?
Yep.
All right. I'm a cruise aficionado. I've been on not a lot, but I've been on probably 15 or 16 of them, I think it is. So we had ours booked for February this year. Well, then they changed that. But they gave us, did they give you any onboard credit because of it?
We didn't book yet.
Oh.
So we didn't get any onboard credit. No.
We got $600 in onboard credit by changing to the next year. So,
really?
Yeah. So my wife's like, yes, money I can spend.
Exactly.
So, all right. Well, congratulations, Zach.
Appreciate it.
All right. I'm coming up on 30. So, yeah, this spring.
We didn't even know if we were going to get to have ours. So it was definitely excited to get that done and out of the way. It's so much less stressful not having to plan for a wedding than having to do it.
So well, if she's from Manson and you're from Texas, did you guys meet at Iowa State?
No. So that's a really long story that, a lot of people know different pieces of that.
Give me the condensed version. Give me the Carnation condensed milk version.
So we met online, kind of talked a little bit, and then I was like, wow, this chick's kind of bat crazy, and so we stopped talking. And then like 7 months later, I was going through my phone, because I had accidentally blocked a friend on Snapchat, and I didn't recognize the name in there, and I was like, who is this? And I unblocked her, and then we kind of started talking again, and then everything else is kind of history. I probably should have ran after our first date, though.
Yeah. Is she still bat crazy?
No.
No? Okay. You're bat crazy now.
Well, yeah. I got a nice little ticket after our first date, so.
Ticket for what?
Speeding.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey, everybody gets them. Trust me.
Mine was about 17 over.
Oh, that's not too bad. Hell, I've been worse than that. Trust me, years ago. So,
well,
so you're a dispatcher here. You are in charge of mainly the guaranteed pay fleet for the Midwest Reefer division. I think do you have some other drivers that are mixed in with them, or just GP guys now?
No. So I did up until the driver of the year ceremony last year, and they decided that, hey, we're going to strictly move you just towards the guaranteed. I have 2 of the Tyson dedicated guys out of Council Bluffs, and that's all that I have other than the guaranteed fleet. So I think as of today, we're up to about 40 guaranteed drivers.
40 on that fleet. Wow. Okay. That's a different kind of fleet. There's stipulations to the guys that have to do that. So what is the main crux of what those guys do?
So basically they're kind of short haul guys. They're people who are doing the shorter loads, that pay better because they are shorter, but trying to do as many short loads as we can so we don't have guys like, Steve Alliger or Charles Gann or stuff like that having to do the short haul. That way they can get the longer miles and the the longer hauls and stuff like that. So they prominently run from Iowa to Illinois. Occasionally we'll send them out to Ohio, Kansas City, stuff like that. That way we're able to kind of keep the shorter stuff on them that pays a little bit better for that fleet specifically, and then keep the guys who are actually wanting to run getting miles.
I like to tell guys, because I always meet with the guys on Monday afternoon, and I like to tell them we designed this fleet because this is the loads that nobody else really wants, because it's very short miles, it's very time consuming, you're dealing with a lot of meat packing plants, a lot of grocery warehouses, and it's not conducive to what drivers normally like. That's why we pay you a very good salary, basically to just do this job.
And that's exactly what it is. We're paying people the rate that we're paying them because we're able to get that rate with the consignee or the customers and whoever. So a lot of the stuff that we're doing, especially out of Iowa, is out of the Tyson facilities, and then Prestige, who we picked up here in the last year or so, that does a prominent of that. So a lot of the stuff that we do goes downtown Chicago. just because of the simple fact that you're getting paid a little bit more to do those because it is the longer hours, it is the shorter miles and stuff like that. Whereas, if you're getting a load going out to California, you're not going to get as much as far as a rate goes or anything like that because it's the longer haul. So it's definitely paying them to do that so we can keep the other guys moving for sure.
Yeah, all the drivers love the long haul miles, and that's why everybody wants to do it. And shippers and customers know, hey, I don't have to pay you as much to do this load because everybody wants to do it.
Exactly.
So that's why they pay us a premium dollar to do these shorter loads. And then we stuck some stipulations onto this in order, because I mean, you got to be a driver. We're not just going to pay you that for you not doing your job. And there's certain stipulations that we require of these drivers. What are those stipulations?
So one of them is that you have to be available for dispatch. So you have to be available to go pick up a load, whatever the case may be, throughout the week. So usually I tell guys that if you're home on Friday, you're back out on Sunday, freight depending. And then if you're home on Saturday, you're out on Monday. That way they're there for their 34-hour restart, back out on the road type of thing. The second one is that you're not allowed to turn down any loads. So one reason we're able to pay you guys as much as what we are, or pay them as much as what we are, is because we have these loads. And it's not, hey, you get to cherry pick your freight, or you get to say, I want this or that or whatever. This is the freight we have specifically set up for you guys. This is what we're running. So you can't turn down any loads, refuse any loads, or anything of that nature. You can't have any driver-related service failure. So I always have to explain that to people so they kind of understand.
They think it's breakdowns a lot of time, don't they?
They do, or like we'll have guys who will recover a load from somebody and, think, oh, hey, I'm late on this because so-and-so, broke down and it's going to count against me. So, you always have to kind of go in depth with them and explain to them, hey, that's not how this works. That's not what it is. It's if you leave the house late, you don't pick up on time, you take a 15-hour break and you're 3 hours later, whatever the case may be, it's something you caused to be late. So it's something that, hey, you didn't do what you were supposed to do, is driver related. If it's something like weather, you have a mechanical issue, or I send you after a load that so-and-so broke down and we need it recovered, it's not something that affects you there. So you do have to go into depth with them on that. And then the final one is, and they just changed it here probably within the last 3 months, is the paperwork cutoff. So anything that you deliver before Sunday has to be scanned in by Sunday. And I always have to kind of go over that with people as well, because they're like, well, I have a load picking up on Friday, but it doesn't deliver until Monday. And I'm like, it doesn't deliver until Monday. So it's following week's check. So, if it delivers before Sunday, it has to be in by Sunday. And, so it's the easiest thing you could possibly do, especially for what you're doing. And it makes things go super simple and hey, the week kind of flies by. But, those 4 rules are definitely the rules that'll kind of kick you if you don't pay attention to them.
Well, and the turning your paperwork in, it's a big bugaboo me, because I always tell them, I don't know if when I talk to them on Monday, I always tell them the stipulation is you turn your paperwork in after every load. It's not I'll hold them all until Sunday cutoff. And it really, with the guaranteed pay, it doesn't matter if it doesn't deliver till Monday anyway. Just turn your paperwork in, it's due, you get your guaranteed pay. It's
exactly
simple.
Exactly. Well, and I tell people, I go one step further, because I know the Qualcomms kind of have their issues every once in a while. It's unfortunate, but I always tell people to use TransFlow, just because of the simple fact with TransFlow, you get that automatic confirmation number. You write it at the top of your cover sheet. And if we don't have it in our computer system, I can call you on Monday and say, hey, we don't have load, blah, 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 blah. And I need a, confirmation number that shows you scanned it in on time. And even if it's not in our computer system with McLeod, TransFlow has their own separate website that you can go in and actually look. Hey, this was scanned in at this time. Here's the confirmation number that you gave us and stuff like that, and you still get credit for your guaranteed. So
I just had to deal with that this week. I had a driver, and he's not one of your guaranteed guys, but he held a paperwork. He forgot about it, delivered on a Saturday, and then Sunday night, all of a sudden, he remembered. Well, he scanned it in right at midnight our time.
I heard about that one.
Yeah.
Didn't get scanned in until like Monday morning at like 4 minutes after.
You got to remember, when it goes into the stratosphere of the world of where you're scanning it, it isn't, you got some time delay there, so it can get messed up. Don't play that game. Just scan them in after you're empty.
And we've had a couple of guys that have done that, that wait till the last minute. And, we'll give you a break once, and that's about all you get. I mean, we can't afford to give you breaks over and over and over. I mean, so, and we really try to iterate to people, scan it in after every load. Make sure you have a confirmation number. at the top of it. So if I call you, you can tell me this is exactly what it is. You know for sure that's what it is. And then you have no problems with your pay. But some people don't always listen.
Well, and like you said, I love the TransFlow phone app. And I know we're going to the Geo tab, which you're going to be able to do on their truck. And it'll be through TransFlow too, because when I scan in my paperwork, it sends me an email within 2 seconds. I've got an email into my system with a number that says, okay, you scanned it in. Yep. Simple.
And even if it's not in our system, like I said, you give me that confirmation number, we can take it to the TransFlow website, look at it, and see, hey, that it was actually in on time, even though it's not in our system, and you still get credit for it.
And then on late deliveries, I talk to a lot of guys and the service failures things. I mean, you're going to have breakdown issues. I mean, we understand that. We want the guys that, yes, I mean, you didn't plan for traffic in Chicago. And I know you work very extensively with guys on helping them find, and we have a driver that isn't here anymore, but I used to just go here, drive here, take your break here, and used to just kind of pinpoint him to everywhere, and he would still fight you tooth and nail to do it. And you probably still have other drivers you do that with.
It's gotten better. My fleet right now is definitely full of some fantastic drivers who do phenomenal jobs, but there are occasional times to where, the Qualcomm won't take in the address that we're giving them, or, hey, it's showing we're supposed to be here and we're a mile down the road. And so they'll call in and kind of ask for help. And I always try to help guide them based off of where I'm seeing on their GPS and stuff and kind of make sure they're at the right place. So it's not as bad as what it used to be. And I know exactly who you're talking about on that. And it's not as bad as it used to be, but you still occasionally get that every once in a while.
Well, and technology has advanced so much that it's really nice, because I watch the DMs all the time, and they'll be talking to the driver, and they've got Google Earth pulled up, and they're okay, you're here, go there, take a right here, do that. I mean, your job has changed so much than when I was in it. For instance, I mean, you don't just watch drivers and do that. I mean, how many other duties do you have? List off some of the duties you have to do for drivers.
Oh, man. Occasionally you have to call and get a delivery appointment rescheduled, or, we get reconsigned. One of the places we go to up in Evans Foods in Chicago, a lot of the times reconsigns us down to their cold storage. So you have to get a hold of Tyson and make sure you get the okay and all that. We've got making sure your service failure list is updated as far as what drivers are doing, making sure that their scheduled services are being done, whether it's out on the road or through a terminal. You have to get those scheduled. Making sure you're handling breakdowns, and if somebody's down for too long, trying to get them switched into a new truck, setting up rental cars and all that stuff, going through the orientation process and meeting new drivers and going over what we're discussing now and kind of making sure they understand everything. The clean truck policy, that's one of the things we have to deal with now too. So if your truck's dirty and you come in here, then we get to call you and tell you, hey, you need to clean it up. It looks like a pigsty. So there's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes that a lot of people don't get to see.
The drug tests. I mean, you've got to, if another one comes in, you've got to get them in. So, and a lot of drivers don't understand, we have a scorecard for drivers. You have a scorecard too.
So I hear it's coming out. I kind of heard something about it. I don't know anything about it yet.
I mean, you're evaluated. I mean, you're scored. We watch what you do, don't we?
Probably.
Yes. And if you don't do your job, you're in trouble, right?
I would hope so.
Yes.
Haven't been down that lane yet.
You haven't been down that lane yet. Okay, well, that's good. So, but yeah, a dispatcher doesn't just sit there and answer the phone and give information back and forth. A dispatcher has a lot of duties that go above and beyond. I always tell Katie attests to this, that how many times have I talked about the ballet that you guys have to do when a truck breaks down or all load breaks down or something like that. And reefer units. How many times a reefer unit goes down and you're watching the board, and all of a sudden, we got to get this thing swapped out.
Yeah, we had one of those that it didn't go down, but they ended up shutting it off the other day. We had a Kroger load come in that somebody shut the reefer off and it didn't get checked, and it was off for about 8 hours. So then it was, okay, hey, we had to find out what the box temp is. We have to get this cooled down as soon as possible. We have to get this moving and keep it cooled down. And it's there's a lot more that goes into it than what, a lot of people think, and I wish it was just phone calls. It'd make things so much easier, but with everything changing and constantly progressing and having to learn the new log system that we're switching to and stuff like that, there's a lot of it. I mean, we had to go in and chase bill of ladings down. That's kind of one thing that I have to do a lot. Yeah. I ended up actually just chasing down about $15,000 worth of bill of ladings that were out there. So. Wow. There's a lot that goes into it.
There's a big difference between reefer and flatbed. Flatbed, it's a load of sheetrock. It ain't going to spoil. It's not going to go bad. But with what we deal with the meat and the produce and all that fresh product, I mean, it's very time and temperature sensitive.
Oh,
and it's a different world, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, we had one a while back that was out of Lexington going down to Georgia. I think it was Birchwood Foods or something like that down in Georgia, and I ended up getting sick on it. Couldn't get it down there in time, and Lexington said, "Hey, don't even bother taking this down there. It's not going down." And what a lot of people don't understand is that meat is time sensitive. I mean, it's not something that 4 or 5 days from now, it's all good and fine and hunky-dory and everything like that. They'll actually take it back to the Tyson plant. It'll be basically reprocessed as frozen, and we get charged for depreciation of value because fresh meat compared to frozen meat is totally different ballgame.
So let's move on now. Let's get into a little bit of more of your personal, okay?
Lord.
So what do you do in your free time?
Hunt, fish, outdoors. I always tell my wife and family in general, they know it anywhere from October to probably March this year. I'm gone every weekend. I'm not home. I'm down hunting somewhere, fishing somewhere. That's what I do in a majority of all of my free time. So,
does your wife go with you, or you and your buddies?
It depends on the weekend.
Yeah.
Occasionally she'll go with me, and then occasionally I'm kind of tired of you and traveling, so you're on your own and stuff like that. So the hunting aspect of it is more kind of me and my family, cousins and stuff like that. She'll go with me occasionally, but fishing is more kind of her family, my family, and all of us together than what the hunting aspect is.
Okay. So where is it mainly around the Omaha area down there, or do you have a certain area that you like to go to most of the time?
For
fishing and hunting, where do you go fishing?
Fishing, usually we're up on Bogie, so up in Okoboji, fishing up there, Spirit Lake and Okoboji and all that, or we'll go out to Twin Lakes if we just want something quick. Hunting is more down around the Omaha area. I got family that lives over there, so we've got farmland kind of saved up and put aside for that specifically. So,
well, I just talked to Todd, and he said he wants me to go with him. I haven't been hunting for it's been a long time. You were probably still in diapers.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. So he said the pheasants, because he's out farming right now, and he says it is a big crop of pheasants out there.
Yeah. This year was definitely a beautiful year. We always keep track of the roadside survey that they have. So they produce a roadside survey by the DNR every year on what populations is for pheasant and quail and all that. And they actually said the numbers were down this year, which I kind of find really hard to believe just because we didn't have a hard winter. We didn't have a hard spring like we did the year before. And then I also come to realize, hey, it was August. Well, crops were already up. We got an early season planting, and, so most of the time those pheasants are out on the side of the road for 30, 40 minutes kind of getting up in the morning, and they're out in the field. And so I was like, I don't really think that you're going to get an accurate count there. And I've heard from a lot of farmers that it's going to be a good year. So
Good. So sports, you said you don't watch the NFL. So what, besides hunting, is anything college football?
Yeah, I watch college football. I follow TCU as far as college football goes.
I think we just played them, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's not go into that
All
conversation.
right. Okay.
We beat Texas. Okay. I don't want to hear anything
All
on
right.
that one. So, I was kind of upset with that game because they started a quarterback who shouldn't really have been playing in the first half, and it just kind of went from there. So, but no, I follow TCU for college football. I don't really watch basketball much. I've never really been a big basketball fan. I follow tennis quite a bit. Played tennis in high school. Was a 4-year varsity freshman on that one. So really kind of follow the pros. More so.
Whoa! Did I hear tennis?
Yeah.
That is not where I thought you would be in sports.
I played every sport. I was a quarterback in football. I was a point guard in basketball. I ended up playing tennis.
Oh, you're like 5 foot tall, and you were a point guard. Well, I guess that's where they stick the shorter guys, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
So I played pretty well everywhere that you can imagine on that one.
Okay.
But I do follow tennis as far as the pro world of it goes, and kind of kept up with the French Open when they were playing that here a couple of weeks ago, and
God, I don't know. You're a better man than me because that to me that's just all right. We're taking a nap.
That's how I feel about golf.
I know.
Y'all love golf, and I can't stand it.
I can watch golf all the time. My wife is just like, "Oh, come on, can we watch something else?"
Davis was supposed to take me golfing, and we haven't gone yet.
You haven't? Oh, I'll take you sometime. I'm going golfing tonight after
clubs.
work. So, I got extras. Don't worry. All right. So you were supposed to go on this cruise. Mm-hmm. So what is your best vacation you've ever been on?
It was probably for sure going down to Texas. We hadn't been around my family for a couple of years just because settling into a new job and everything like that. So going down to Texas back in, God, that would have been 2017, I think is what it was. Going down there and seeing my little sister who has cerebral palsy and my parents and stuff like that I hadn't seen in 2-3 years was definitely a really fun time to get to do and kind of see how things had changed over 2-3 years in the town you grew up in, and people had kind of changed and all that stuff. So,
how big is Sweetwater?
When I was down there, probably about 10,000. I think they've increased by like 1,000, so I think it's about 11,000.
All right, so not a huge town, that's for sure.
So. Smaller than Fort Dodge.
Yep. So. Okay. All right. So, the industry. You've been in this industry for a while now. What are some of the things you love about this industry?
A lot of people laugh at this, but I do somewhat enjoy getting to meet newer people and kind of see the diversification between different areas. Definitely cultural is a big thing. I mean, people from down south are different culturally than up here, and even people going over in like the Chicago area. So I've met some really, really cool people. I'm one of those people that I love to learn more. So I've learned things on the customer service side. I've learned things on the brokerage side. I've learned things on the dispatching side. I've learned things on the maintenance support side. So kind of getting to learn all those different branches and be around that has been kind of fun as well. Just making the contacts has been about the funnest part for me,
Okay. What about industry hates? What do you hate about this industry?
I gotta admit, I don't like the newer trucks. I get they're newer, but it seems like the cars, they break down more frequently. They have more issues, and I grew up around the old box nose Pete's, and they run and run and run and run until you burn them into the ground, and then you put a new motor in them, and they keep running, and that's probably one of my biggest industry hates is all the breakdown issues that just in general, not even just here at Decker, but just in general as a nationwide industry has.
Yeah, well, that's I'm going to refrain from that, but a lot of that is emissions control issues, I think. But also you look at, and I grew up, God, it's been a long time, but yeah, I was talking to a guy the other day, and we've got Epic View in the trucks, and we've got Smart Drive, and we've got microwaves, and we've got inverters, and we've got, these cars ride like, my car in high school didn't ride as good as these trucks do nowadays, and you got to have, there's a give and take for having all that luxury. I was telling this guy, I drove an old cracker box Peterbilt that had a hole that was about, showing my hands, was about 2 feet by 2 feet, and I had to crawl my big butt through there to get into the bunk. Times have changed a lot. So drivers want their comforts, and I don't blame them because they're away from home all that time.
For sure.
So APUs, what do you have many dealings with the APUs issues?
Not a lot. Usually about the only time that I get anything on the APU is if we're talking about your idle and how you're idling, or if somebody's calling in and saying, hey, my APU is not working, then we're taking steps to get them over to breakdown and get them to either an outside shop or back into Fort Dodge, Hammond, or one of the terminals we have access to get that repaired.
Well, speaking of that, so Scorecard, because one of the things, another one of your duties is you have to talk to the drivers on scorecards and try to help them improve their idle time and their other stuff. And that can be fighting tooth and nail sometimes too, can it?
Oh, it definitely can be. The guaranteed scorecard is a little bit different than the overall scorecard for the over-the-road guys because the mileage is not taken into aspect for the guaranteed guys. So, a perfect scorecard for the guaranteed is about an 850 just because the miles count for 150 points. So, I have guys, and what's amazed me is some of the newer guys have actually called in and seen their scorecard and, hey, how can I improve this, or what do I need to work on and stuff like that. I actually had a conversation with a guy last week that's only been here for like a month, and was like, hey, what can I do to improve, or what am I doing wrong? And so I sat there and spent probably about 10, 15 minutes on the phone with him just explaining, hey, here's where we can improve, or here's what we need to look at and stuff like that. So it's definitely kind of, trying to get it through to some of them, and some of them listen, and some of them take it in one ear and out the other type of thing.
Okay. Well, you go and you meet all the new drivers going to your board every week. I think you have one this week, don't you? Okay. So what advice would you give a new driver coming on to Decker?
For sure, pay attention. I don't know how many people I've had come through orientation, and the stuff that gets explained to orientation doesn't stick, and then they're asking the same question over and over and over. So, those guys are there. They've been, personal drivers before for us, and they know what they're talking about. And, paying attention would definitely be one of the biggest aspects that I would give to them.
All right. Well, thank you, Zach. Hopefully that wasn't too painful.
It was awful.
It was awful, I know. All right. And we'll probably be doing it again, so don't worry about it, okay?
I volunteer, Cynthia.
Thank you, Zach. We had a great conversation, and I will be bugging you again, so don't worry about that. But moving on now, I am going to announce the September Drivers of the Month. For West Reefer, Chad Hazelton was the winner. Lauren Durham was the nominee. Midwest Reefer, Michael Dosch was the winner. Todd Overson nominee. Dean Sochek nominee. Midwest Flatbed, our winner was Christopher Daniels. Southern Flatbed, our winner was Robert Skiles. Our nominee was Joseph Paris. And speaking of Joseph, I got an email from him just the other day. States, I'm still enjoying the podcast every week. I'm going back to the Tifton dedicated route for a while, but my next move after that will be owner-op, he hopes. And I hope to be with Decker the rest of my career. Keep up the good work, and I'll try to do the same here. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that. You guys, remember to send in your emails if you have any questions or anything. And our owner-operator lease purchase driver of the month was Felix Santiago. And congratulations to all you guys. You now are in the running for the grand champion at the end of the year. We're also going to talk about the driver scorecard bonus that was just paid out here, I think, just the other day. We had 196 company drivers that received a bonus. We also had, out of that 196, 26 of them got a perfect 1,000 score. Their bonuses totaled $39,162.51. We had 34 owner-operators that received a scorecard bonus for a total of $9,727.11. And out of that, 18 of them were perfect 1,000s. Great job, guys. Smart Drive. We had 151 company drivers receive a bonus for a total of $14,537.22. And we had 6 owner-operators that received a bonus for $627.11. Now, total paid out from Decker this month was $63,426.84. That's all money that you guys earned. Great job. The rest of you guys that didn't quite make it this month, ask your DM, talk to him, find out what you got to do in order to get that bonus. It is just bonus money that you can earn to take home. So I appreciate it. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later. As always, thank you for listening to Inside the Triangle. Don't forget to subscribe to us on whatever platform you're listening on. That way you will know when the new episodes drop. And remember, submit your questions to podcast@deckermail.com, and you could be featured on one of our upcoming episodes. The best way to do this is to create a voice memo on your smartphone, record your question, and email it to podcast@deckermail.com. Once again, thank you for listening. Stay driven to be the best.